Welcome back to the Pursuit of Accuracy. I'm Josh, and today we have a video review of the Apex Rival 4-32 by 56 millimeter scope. Now, this is commonly found in PRS, NRL 22, both centerfire and rimfire, and at a price point of $2,000. It has a lot of you asking a lot of good questions, and hopefully we can answer them here today, and you can take that information and make a good decision on whether or not this is going to be the scope for you if you're looking in that kind of intermediate range of optics. Now, I say intermediate, it is retailing at around $2,000 US. That's a lot of money for a scope. I understand that, but when you consider the Attackers, the Tangent Thetas, the Zicos, all these other scopes, this is very much middle of the road, but it is a very high-end scope with a very high-end price tag. So let's find out if this scope actually delivers on that. So again, here you see it tricked out with a sunshade, of course. I have this in an MDT one-piece mount, and I have shot this on centerfires, rimfires, all sorts of rifles, and I can tell you right off the bat, the scope has never let me down. It is super repeatable, and if you are here looking for a tracking test, you have come to the wrong channel, because I am not a scope reviewer per se. What I am is a shooter who uses a lot of good equipment, and I'm hopefully going to be able to give you my perspective after using this for nearly a year of how good or not good this is. Now, I was an early tester on these. I tested the prototype before the production model came out, and I've had the production model since it's been out. So I think I've had it long enough to tell you guys an open and honest review on this. So this is not going to be spec heavy. There are plenty of reviewers who give you all the specs, the weights, the website, go to that. This is just my perspective, so let's get right into it. So first thing we probably all look at is turrets and travel. Now, this has a ton of internal travel. It's a 34 mil tube. It is going to be competitive with almost everything else in the price point. And don't be fooled, this scope has a lot of competitors in its price point, both above and below, and we will get into that. But turrets, these are very crisp and very audible turrets. They are very repeatable. It has always tracked well for me. It is 15 mils per rev. So for, center fire, you're never gonna have to go past 1 rev. Rimfire, you're gonna have to go past it, but not much. Now, that can be good or bad depending on what you like. 15 mils per rev on a big low profile turret like this means those numbers are gonna be very small and those clicks are gonna be very tight to each other. Some people will like that, some people won't. That's gonna have to be up to you to decide. It is an illuminated reticle and it is usable. Now, I don't get big into illumination. I don't need my scopes to be a red dot, but if you are in low light, the illumination is gonna be usable for you. Parallax and magnification are both gonna be very smooth, very usable. It does come with a throw lever and an insert if you don't want it. Really, with this optic, you don't need it, but I usually opt for a throw lever, and here you can see it's got their kind of proprietary color anodizing on that. Definitely gives it a pretty cool look. Of course, fast focus eyepiece, very smooth, stiff, which is good. That's how we want it. You don't want this bumping around and accidentally getting moved. You want to set it once and forget it, and it works just fine for that. I don't want to just sit here and talk about the reticle and talk about the scope. Let's put the scope cam on this thing. I'll get it parallaxed in. We'll shoot it at 100 yards. You can see the reticle. All right, so we do have some storm clouds rolling in, so that's one, gonna help the video quality, and two, not gonna help me if I get rained on. So we're gonna go ahead and get ripping on this. We are gonna shoot the gun, of course, CZ457. This is my daughter's rifle, Element 4.0. Super nice setup. It has a Bartlein barrel. Always been a really good gun. Shooting random ammo through it today, but just want to give you guys an idea of what we have here. So right now we're at 16 power, and you are looking at 100 yards. That is a 50-yard KYL set out there, and let's go and see if we're on target here. But if you can look at the reticle, it has a nice floating dot. I really enjoy that. Has good 2/10 subtension marks. Lots of good information, very easy to tell where you're at, but let's shoot it. All right, so you can see there, dead hold, 1 mil holdover, 2 mil, 3, 4, 5. Very easy to hold this reticle over. This reticle is as good as the tracked reticle for me. They are slightly different. I do maybe slightly prefer the Tractork ELR reticle to this, but again, both are extremely good reticles. I really enjoy that floating dot. Let's go ahead and go after a smaller one. Let's keep going. Oh, I think the wind got me. Oh, I seen it that time. There it is. All right, let's hit the spinner. Okay, well, hopefully you guys are close enough in. About 130, we should be about maybe 1.82 mils short of that. Yeah, we just nicked her. See if we got one more round. Mess that up. Oh, I see it. We're over it. And we're out of ammo. So hopefully through that you were able to kind of see the reticle and pretty much what this glass looks like. Now keep in mind, through a scope camera, that's never going to be perfect. So for glass quality, obviously it's right up there in its price point. $2,000, you're expecting a lot. You know, you don't want to see chromatic aberration. You want to have really good clear lenses. And I think for the money, this delivers pretty well. Now I mentioned earlier that this does have some stiff competition, both just below it and just above it. So at $2,000 price point, below this you're looking at the Traktork ELR, which has a shot glass, ED lenses, and I would say that the Trak probably just edges the scope out in glass clarity. Obviously, I have a sample size of 1, but I've used many of the Traktorks. It is my favorite scope in that price range. I do think it has maybe slightly better glass, slightly better coatings. It looks better to my eye when I'm on the track. Now, it is very, very close. It is not by much. These are both very high-end scopes, and you should expect them to have really good glass. Now that I brought up the Traktork ELR, I want to make a very clear point, and I think that most people's buying decision, the make or break of this is going to come down to turrets. As you can see here on the Apex Rival, we have low profile 15 mil per rev turrets, and you know, they are super crisp. They feel really good turrets, and a lot of people are going to like this style turret. A lot of people like the tactical low profile. So if you're between this and the Traktork ELR and you like this turret, then you're probably going to buy this scope. Now you're going to pay a couple $100 more for this versus the Traktork, but when you're in that price range, that's probably not a huge deal. But if you want this style turret and you want to be in that price range, that's pretty much where you're going to be. The Traktork, obviously having the taller turrets are 10 mil per revolution. I actually prefer them for some other reasons we've talked about before. I am apparently in the minority of liking a little taller turret with kind of less revs. I like the 10, works better for me. So above this scope and price point, now you're looking at the Mark V. Now to stay kind of close to it, you're going to be in the non-illuminated, so that's the Leupold. It is a very, very good scope, and it is around $2,100 or $2,200 non-illuminated, but that puts it very, very close to the scope. Now, I've only looked through a few of those, but I'm bringing that up to say how tightly boxed in this optic is. So as far as cons overall on the scope, that is probably the only con is the price. It is $2,000 USD. If you want these turrets and you want all the features and the glass clarity and that really nice reticle, then you're probably just gonna have to pony up and pay the $2,000 to get this, and I don't think that you're gonna be disappointed. Eye box, super forgiving, easy to find this eye box. This is set up for my daughter, so it is a little funny for me. We'll go to the weak side now, my worst thing, and I'm pretty much in it already. I mean, it is a very forgiving eye box. Everything about it works very well. Everything about it has really quality fit and finish, and obviously we should expect that for the level of money you're paying. But I do think that this scope probably fits better at a $1,850, $1,800 price range, and that is just my personal opinion. So to wrap this up, the Apex 4-32 by 56 Rival, a really good scope, a lot of really good features. I think whether or not you want this scope is going to come down to these turrets. And if you're looking at that, you're going to be looking at the Mark V's, you're going to be looking at Attackers, you're going to be looking at the Traktork. Really, I think its closest competitor is the Traktork. They are both phenomenal scopes. They both are very smooth where they need to be. They both have very repeatable turrets. It's just going to be different turret styles and what is your preference. So again, really good scope for the money. Hopefully, if you were looking at buying a scope and you were looking for a realistic perspective on this and not just a sales ad or a spreadsheet, then hopefully this is delivered for you. If it has, please like the video. If you're not a subscriber, I don't typically do scope reviews, but I try and do gear reviews when it makes sense. If you're interested in becoming more involved and you want to shoot our monthly competitions, join my Patreon, get access to our Discord. We have the best group of rimfire shooters in the world, and we have a lot of fun and we have a lot of good competitions, and we do have some prizes on there. So you can join for as little as $1 a month all the way up to whatever, and just that $1 a month gets you in. You can see if you like it. If you don't like it, you got a chance at winning, you know, a cool prize for that month, and you spent $1. And with that, I hope that this has helped you. I appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.